name is Karen Lanigan. I'm manager of the Career Coaching and Recruitment Service here with Chartered Accountants Ireland. You're very welcome to our webinar, which is focused on advancing your career with a mentor. So during the session, I'm going to clarify what a mentor is, demonstrate how a mentor can benefit your career, advise you on what to look for in the right mentor for you, and help explain and identify how to find the right mentor for you, and also then to provide you with details in relation to the career mentor program that we operate here in Chartered Accountants Ireland. And also then, once you've gone through the process of finding a mentor, it's to help you to prepare for getting the most from the meeting with the mentor. So if you're giving up time to go and meet with the mentor, they're giving up their time, it's really important that you are getting the most from that relationship and from that engagement. So firstly, we look at what exactly is a mentor. So if we look at the definition of a mentor, it is that they are a guide who can help you to find the right direction and who can help you to find and develop solutions for your career. So it's finding that right career direction and then helping you with the challenges and issues that you might face in their career. And what they then do is, because of having had similar experiences in the past, they can connect and have that empathy with you. And an understanding of those challenges and issues that you're having, because essentially they too themselves have gone through those exact same challenges at some stage in their career. So if we were to put this in, and I suppose in a nutshell, we would be saying that a mentor is somebody whose hindsight can become your foresight. So in other words, you're benefiting from their life and career experiences, and because they know exactly what you're going through because they've been there themselves, they can provide you with invaluable advice and direction to help you to steer that right path and also to deal with any challenges that you might be having. So if we were to look at this in a little bit more detail, essentially mentoring is a relationship most generally with a more experienced and knowledgeable person. Now that's not always the case, but typically it is the case where your mentor will have more experience and will be at a more advanced stage in their career than you might be at just at this point. It's very much acknowledged as a learning and development relationship where there is that knowledge transfer. So in other words, the mentor is sharing their experiences and their knowledge with you to benefit you in your career. And then basically it operates on the premise that the mentor will share their learnings with you, and also you are, as the mentee, are open to learning as well. So if we were to look at, I suppose, this caption, which I really like because I think it I suppose explains that, you know, one of the benefits or the reasons for having a mentor is that successful people never reach their goals alone. And I will give you examples shortly of successful people who have been, I suppose, propelled in their career by having a mentor. So what are the benefits of a mentor? So if we look at this in a little bit more detail, we can see that they very much act as a role model. And because of the track record and experience that they have, they are in a position to be able to provide you with impartial advice based on their experience. They don't have an agenda in this situation. They just want to share their experiences and their knowledge with you. But by the same token, they give you that opportunity to have a sounding board, you know, so they will listen on an impartial basis. They'll give you moral support during, you know, challenges or issues that you might be having. They will also give you feedback, honest, open, constructive feedback based on their experiences that they may have had in similar situations. And they may also give you ideas that can benefit you and give you options and direction in relation to you know, how you might approach your career or how you might deal with particular challenges or issues. They're there to challenge you, they're there to support you, and they're there to work with you to set the goals that will help you to achieve career success, and I suppose supporting you through the various different stages of achieving your goals. So setting those goals, working with you to put a plan in place, and then supporting you and challenging you and keeping you on the right path to achieving those goals. they will also give you that competitive edge because you'll have that support, you'll have the independent advice, you'll have that support and that knowledge and wisdom that you might not otherwise have and that other people may not have too. So that could give you the edge over others. And that combined with, I suppose, that support will give you confidence. And that is a big benefit of having a mentor, that it gives you that confidence to move forward because you're getting that support, that reassurance to be able to make decisions and sense check the decisions that you're making and move forward with confidence in your career. Similarly, they also most likely will have a strong network, and they may also be in a position to help you to connect with that network and broaden out your own network, which is an essential part of a strategic career plan. So this is a nice way of remembering the benefits of a mentor, and it's a good way of summarizing what they are. So if we look at the M, it's like basically the mentor helps to motivate you to accomplish more. So it's that, I suppose, that support, that challenge to drive you on and to motivate you to achieve more in your career. The E is for expects the best of you. So they're putting a bit of pressure on you, but they also believe in you. And that's why they're setting these high expectations for you. And that in its own right will drive you on. N being they never give up on you or let you give up. So there may be times when you're just feeling overwhelmed by everything, but they're there as a support and somebody that will drive you on and give you that support. T is for it tells you the truth even when it hurts. So there may be a case that or a situation where you need constructive feedback. Other people may not give that to you, but they're willing to give you that feedback, even if it's not what you want to hear initially, but it's something you need to hear and that will benefit your career. O being occasionally puts you under pressure, and that's what we all need sometimes, is that push to drive us forward in our career. And or then being really cares about you and your success. So they have an interest in you because if they didn't, they wouldn't be volunteering to be a mentor, or they wouldn't give of their time to you. So that's really important that you have somebody that really cares about your success. So just to highlight again then, as I said, because I think this really captures the value of a mentor in that it's somebody whose hindsight can become your foresight. So, like I suppose we've mentioned all of the benefits there, but I just want to, I suppose, show you that this is underpinned by research, and research across from a broad range of areas shows us that a mentor can bring benefits both like in terms of your behavioral side, and we all know that I suppose behaviors and how you behave in the workplace has a significant bearing on whether you move into leadership roles or not. Similarly, the attitudinal side, so if you're seeing benefits from that perspective, it can have a benefit in terms of your career. Having a mentor can also help in terms of the relational side, so getting advice in relation to building, developing and maintaining relationships can be hugely beneficial, as well as we've also mentioned about the motivational side. So clearly then all of these factors lead into benefits in terms of your career and also, believe it or not, your health. So like, and again, that's been proven that things are going well for you in your career. It can have health benefits for you too. Similarly, if you're under stress and things aren't going as you might like, it also can have negative impacts in terms of your health. So I mentioned earlier that success is rarely achieved on your own, and I wanted to give some examples to kind of put the mentor-mentee relationship in context. And I did some research around this and came up with some really interesting mentor-mentee relationships. So, for example, Warren Buffett, famous investor, stroke I suppose investor relations, stroke business entrepreneur, actually mentored Bill Gates. And we all know the success that Bill Gates has had within his career. Similarly, Steve Jobs mentored Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. So again, you can see that I suppose Mark certainly benefited from that relationship. Similarly, Maya Angelou, who would be well known, also mentored Oprah Winfrey and has had a significant influence on her life and her career. And then interestingly, Christian Dior also mentored Yves Saint Laurent. So as you can see, there were successful people supporting others who then in turn became successful in their careers. Again, if we were to look at this from a fictional perspective, there are some really good examples of mentor-mentee relationships. So if we take Gandalf in the Hobbit, we've got, for any Star Wars fans out there, we've got Obi-Wan Kenobi. We also have Dumbledore then from Harry Potter, a really good example. Then for those more into, I suppose, action movies, we have M in the Bond movies. And then coming back to animation again, we have Mufasa and the Lion King. So as you can see then, it gives just that context around the I suppose the relationships, and it gives you, I suppose, a sense of how beneficial those relationships can be, and that they exist in many different forms that we mightn't have realized before. So it's good just to look at those in the context, and maybe look at other relationships within your own career and life to see, you know, who might actually be acting in a mentor capacity, but that it mightn't be official, or you might not have actually thought of the relationship as being such. So it's interesting just to look at that from that perspective and that context. So you might ask me, how do I go about finding a mentor? And that is a question that we're asked on a regular basis. So I suppose you can look around you and see, you know, who is it within your network that you admire and respect. So that can be your network, you know, from a professional perspective, a work perspective, or indeed from a personal perspective. I know quite a number of people whose parent or aunt or uncle would actually act as a mentor for them. You can also look to your current or previous manager. They can sometimes actually act as a very good mentor for you. You could also look and see, look, who has the job, that dream job that you really are aspiring to. If it's a CFO or CEO role, who is that person that has that job that you really want, and actively then go and seek them as a mentor and approach them. And I've seen where members and others have done that, and it has worked very successfully for them. Similarly, if you have a sector or an area or a particular business that you're interested in, don't be afraid to look at those kind of areas or those sources in terms of a mentor. And LinkedIn can be a great way to kind of network and put some feelers out there, as can just using your own network of contacts to try and source and establish who might be a strong mentor for you, and using your network to get a recommendation of somebody who could actually be a strong and fitting mentor for you. Similarly, then there are formal mentor programs out there, both within organizations and also external mentor programs. And there are more and more organizations going down that road of offering structured and formal mentor programs, including ourselves. And I'll take you through the Institute mentor program very shortly as well. So what do you look for in a mentor? And I've I suppose just put a bit of thought into this in terms of helping you to identify, you know, or to know what to look for when you're looking for a mentor. I suppose the first thing to consider is their profile and their credibility and their career track record and success themselves. Because the more successful they have been, the more I suppose track record and more experience that they would have themselves that you can then learn from. So you can learn from, I suppose, the secrets of their success. That's the first thing I would look at is that profile, their career success and track record to date. You might also want to speak to somebody who has a particular expertise or a particular knowledge in a particular sector or area of expertise, whether that might be something like, say, corporate finance, banking, financial services. So I would suggest that, you know, you look at somebody that might have that industry expertise or industry knowledge, that you can leverage that as well. But that's not always essential. But if there is a particular target area that you have in mind, you can certainly benefit from speaking to somebody within that particular area. I've mentioned here savvy, and what I mean by that is just, I suppose, general business, commercial and professional savvy, so that they can advise you in relation to what it is you need to know that will help you in terms of your career. And the kind of things that come to mind here will be, I suppose, as I said, the general kind of business savvy, things like, dealing with politics in the workplace, networking, dealing with, challenges around, climbing the ladder, how to try and influence people. So that little bit of business savvy, been there, done that. I think that's really important, that, they bring that to the table, they can share that with you, and that you can learn from that as well. I mentioned this already, but it's to look for somebody who is in the space that you want to be in, who has the dream job that you're aspiring to. And then at least you can speak to them to find out, well, look, what did you do to get to where you are? What did you need to do to get to the position that you're in now? Or what do I need to do to get to the next level? And what skills and experience do I need to position myself to eventually get to that dream job? Or how do I access that dream job? A critical factor when you're looking at for a mentor is the rapport and that connection that you have with them. There's somebody that you can get on with, somebody that you feel you have that kind of connection or that chemistry with, that you look forward to going to meet with them, that you feel comfortable with them, that they will listen to you as well, and that there is that, I suppose, empathy there as well. And I suppose essentially a connection. You know yourself when you feel comfortable with somebody, you can speak, you feel, I suppose, happy to kind of, I suppose, share your thoughts with them, and that I suppose that connection is reciprocated as well. So that can't be understated in terms of that chemistry, I suppose, or chemistry check, and that you feel that there is that rapport, that connection there with them. An important thing to consider as well when you're looking for a mentor is that they're interested in you, and that they have an interest in learning and professional development. So you want somebody who is mentoring and wants to be a mentor for the right reasons, that they want to see you do well, they're happy to share their experience, and they're doing so from the right place, that there's no ego going on here. They're not doing it just from the perspective of their CV building and what they'll get from this themselves, or to be able to simply say, look, I am a mentor. But they are very genuine and authentic about wanting to help you, and that they have demonstrated an interest in learning themselves throughout their career and have developed from that perspective as well. You also want somebody who will challenge you, who will put a bit of pressure on you, because that is one of the key benefits. So you want somebody that will ask those challenging questions, who might make you feel that little bit uncomfortable, but it's in that zone of discomfort where you will really learn things, and where the great ideas and I suppose the success will come from, because you want somebody that will challenge you, put you under a bit of pressure, ask you, as I said, those uncomfortable questions, and then somebody that will support you as you're trying to kind of make changes, as you're trying to kind of strive for success, and will put that pressure on you. Similarly as well, you want somebody who has a network, that you can potentially leverage that network. It shouldn't be the only reason you choose a mentor, because essentially it's not a networking tool or a networking facility, but an added benefit of it can be that the mentor can make introductions for you. So if they do have a good network, that can certainly benefit you. As I mentioned earlier about ego is really important. You don't want a member or a mentor, should I say, who's mentoring purely for their own benefit. You need somebody that has a genuine, authentic interest in learning and sharing that knowledge with you. So let me tell you about the Institute Mentor Program. So we've had this in operation for quite a number of years, and it's designed specifically for members. So what we have done is we have put together a panel of over 100 chartered accountants who have agreed to act as mentors. So it's a valuable pool or resource of over 100 very experienced and successful chartered accountants. They've come from a whole range of industries and sectors, everything from industry, financial services, banking, practice. They've come from tax, compliance, a whole range of areas, including financial control, finance directors, etc. So it's this invaluable resource available to you. And the great thing about it is that it is managed here by myself and my team. So we help you to find the right mentor, and you have that support in identifying and securing the right mentor. It's all managed very confidentially. We also make sure that there's no conflict of interest there. And that's the wonderful thing about this, is because we manage it here very carefully, your confidentiality is assured, and also we make sure that there is no conflict of interest. So you need to have no concerns about that. It's also free of charge, and it is also available to members overseas as well. I suppose with the wonders of technology, Skype has helped us. So, so to take you through then, I suppose the reasons why other members have sought the support of our mentor program here, because we do ask members when they sign up for the program, what were their reasons for wanting to avail of the service. And it'll just give you an insight, because I'm sure you'll be able to relate to some of these reasons, because they may be things that are going on for you in your career as it stands at the moment. So the reasons included, independent advice in relation to your career options. So to be able to, I suppose, kind of put those options out on the table, get an independent sounding board and sense check from somebody else who, I suppose, has no preconceptions in terms of your own background and experience, and has no vested interest. They're giving you, I suppose, this impartial feedback based on their own interpretation and their own experience. We've had other members who've come to us who are looking to get insights in relation to how to operate at a board level. So if you're looking to make that move up to the next level, and you're looking for some insights in relation to how to do that, particularly at board level, a mentor can really help in that sense. Similarly, if you're moving up into a management position, you might like to get some independent advice around dealing with people and taking on a people management role, and to learn from somebody who's had that track record over the years, what's worked for them, what hasn't. So that can be really valuable insights and experience to get. Also then as well, if you're looking for advice in relation to a career change, so if you're looking to take on a new role or to move into a new area or sector, a mentor can really help, and they have helped other members to make that change, and to look at ways in which they can leverage the skills and experience that they have if they're looking to make a career change. And we've seen that time and time again, where a mentor can help you to, I suppose, realize and acknowledge and value the skills and experience that you have, and help you to make that change. And then similarly, if you're looking for advice in relation to an area that you're considering, but you don't really know a huge amount about it, but you want to get that first-hand knowledge, insights and information in relation to an area, a mentor can really help. And we've seen that time and time again, where members have engaged with mentors and gained those really invaluable insights. So when we looked for feedback from members who'd availed of the mentor program here, these are some of the pointers that were made. So one member said, look, provided me with new insights and perspectives that I otherwise wouldn't have. So again, I suppose a different perspective on things, and helping them to see things from in a different light and through a different lens, and that can help to inform decisions and ensure that you're making more, I suppose, like solid, grounded career decisions. Also, another member felt that it helped them to devise a clearer roadmap for their career, so that I suppose they probably looked at other options and considered the career path from a number of different perspectives. So that obviously is beneficial in terms of making sure that you are making the right move, and have a very clear path and roadmap ahead. And as we said earlier, with the support of a mentor, you're more likely to achieve success and meet, like I suppose, follow that career roadmap successfully with that support and challenge from a mentor. Similarly then, another member felt that they identified the experience and skills that they need to bring their career to the next level. So for example, if you were speaking to a mentor who was in the dream job that you wanted, a question you could ask them is like, what do I need to do, or what skills and experience do I need to focus on and do I need to develop to help me to get to the next stage of my career. So as you can see, the member feedback following engagement with a mentor has been really very positive, and it gives you a good sense of the benefits that members have derived from engaging with the mentor service. So how does it work? It's really simple. So basically what you need to do is to go to our website, and I can provide you with the link afterwards. But essentially you log into the Institute website, where we have a full listing of all over 100 of the mentors. Now they're listed confidentially for obvious reasons, but you will be able to see for each of the individual mentors and an overview of their background. So where do they train? What industry sectors have they worked in? What disciplines have they been involved in? What positions have they held? So based on that profile and that outline and I suppose the background, you can select a mentor or a number of mentors if you wish, that you feel are most appropriate. You then complete the application form, which again is online. It's only a very short form because we want to keep this as simple as possible and I suppose kind of time, I suppose spare your time and that it's not time consuming. So you fill out that form identifying the mentor or mentors that you're interested in. You provide us with details as to why you want the mentor. So we just need to be sure that, you know, I suppose you're clear on what you want to achieve, and we can talk you through that as well, just to make sure that you're on the right track. So you send us then the application form. We then, I suppose, come back to you and just confirm, as I said, your reasons for wanting to engage with a mentor. We then confirm that that mentor is the best fit for you. Now, if we feel that that particular person you've chosen isn't the right fit for you, we will explain as to why, but we will also then make suggestions based on our knowledge of all of the mentors. We will suggest who the right person might be for you, because we'd be very familiar with all of their backgrounds, all of their profiles. We have selected the mentors specifically based on their skills and their abilities to be a mentor. So, you know, we would have a good sense as to who might fit your specific needs best. So what we then do is we contact the mentor, set up the arrangements, and you then contact the mentor yourself to arrange to meet with them at a time and a place, etc., that suits both yourself and the mentor. So it's very much driven by you at that stage, and you decide, you know, what you need from the process and arrange the meeting with the mentor. What we do ask for you at the end of the process is for you to provide us with some feedback as to how it went, because that feedback then enables us and allows us to make any tweaks or adjustments or improvements to the process. We have had situations where members have decided to avail of meeting with another mentor again, and that's absolutely possible, you know, to get a number of different perspectives. So that's not an issue as well. In terms of the meetings with the mentors, that's very much driven by you. We've had members who've only met the mentor once because they got what they needed from the arrangement. We've others situations where members have met with the mentor on a number of occasions, haven't done so for a while, and then would re-engage with them at a later stage. It really depends on your own individual needs, and it's very much driven by you and obviously the availability of the mentor. So look, as you can see, it's very simple. I would encourage you very much to have a look at the website. Contact me with any queries or questions that you might have, and we're very happy to work with you to help you to identify the mentor that's going to suit you best. So when you're getting ready then to meet with the mentor, it's important that you're very clear and you're very focused on what it is that you want to get from that meeting. So I've put together some questions that I think you know, would be beneficial for you to consider in advance, because if you're giving up your time, the mentor is giving up their valuable time, and they're very often people in very senior positions like CFO, MD. We have a couple that will be CFO or MD of large PLCs. So as you can imagine, these are very important busy people. So you want to make sure that when you are meeting with them, that you're getting the very best from that time. So some of the questions that you could ask them are as follows. So what have been the biggest lessons from your career? So I think, again, good learning opportunity for you there in terms of what has worked for them, what hasn't, and essentially what is it that you can learn from their experience. Another question might be, what would you do differently? And again, we've all had, I suppose, learnings from situations throughout our career, and looking back, and that beauty of hindsight, what would you do differently? So you have that opportunity, as I said earlier, to learn from their hindsight, and potentially not to fall into the same traps, or to have the same challenges, or make the same mistakes as they might have done already. This is an interesting one. So what advice would you give your 25-year-old self? I think that's a nice one too, because it gets them to think back on, well, look, if I was going through this all over again, what would I do differently? Also, what advice would you give me to help me progress? And I think that's a good all-round question. Even if you ask nothing else, that is a really solid question that should elicit some really good advice for you in terms of making that next step in terms of your career. Similarly, if you were asking what has been key to your success, you're going to get some really good, strong pearls of wisdom in terms of, well, look, what were the key things, that they have found have worked for them. Now, that's obviously no guarantee that they'll work for you, but it'll give you some really good ideas in terms of, well, look, what were the factors that really led to their success. I mentioned this one, I think, earlier, in terms of what mistakes have you learned from, and we all know that there's huge learning in any mistakes that you've made, and again, it prevents you potentially going down that same road in terms of mistakes. The next question I put down here would be is like, who would you recommend I connect with? And this is a nice subtle way of checking to see whether there's any way that you can leverage from the network that they have, because as I said, you shouldn't be going out there, specifically to leverage from their network. But if they're open to doing so and sharing their network and their contact with you, then by all means you should be, I suppose, availing of that option. So by asking this question, who would you recommend I connect with? It's a subtle way of seeing whether you might be able to leverage those contacts, as I said, or they might would obviously have some good suggestions in terms of other people that you should speak to. And obviously, when you're making career decisions or mapping out your career path, the more people you speak to, the better. So I think that's a nice question to ask. And then I mentioned earlier that one of the benefits of having a mentor is getting that independent feedback. So a good question to ask in that sense is, what are your impressions of me? And particularly in the first meeting, where you get a sense from them, well, look, what are the first impressions they're getting of me? What is the impact I'm making? Because if the chances are, if you're having that particular impact or making that impression on them, that's the mark that you're leaving with others as well. So it's nice to get that independent feedback. So if there are changes or adjustments or improvements that you need to make in that sense, then that is that, I suppose, building of awareness around that can be really beneficial in terms of that feedback. So look, I would have 2 or 3 certainly of those questions ready when you're going to meet a mentor. So to getting the most out of a mentor relationship, I thought it'd be useful just to give you some pointers around that. So obviously the first one, goes without saying, it's about being professional. What I mean about that is, I suppose, respecting boundaries, respecting confidentiality, obviously not telling all and sundry who it is you're meeting with, particularly if they're a high profile person. It's meeting them when you say you will. So all of those things that I suppose we would expect as professionals. Secondly, you do need to work on building a rapport with that person. So it's, watching your body language, making eye contact, opening up and being honest and open with them, because I think, you're going to get more from this relationship the more you put into it. So they can't help you unless you're honest and open, and I suppose lay your cards on the table and be honest about the challenges that you may be having, because if you don't give them that information, they don't have that to work with. I'd also set clear objectives in terms of what you want to get from the relationship. So set goals for yourself in relation to, you know, what it is you want to get from the engagement. So like that, when you apply for the program here, we will ask you what your objectives are, just to help you to have that clarity going in there. I'd also suggest, you know, have an open mind, you know, and have that growth mindset, and you know, listen to what it is that the mentor might be suggesting. Listen to the feedback that they have. Look at, like as I said, have an open mind in terms of what they might be suggesting. Go off, research it. Don't discount it. You know, there could be something really valuable in there and some learning for you that you might not have thought of. And that is the benefit and the value that somebody from outside can bring. So be open to that, and take that on board. As I said, have some questions ready, and also, as I said, listen and accept that feedback, because there can be really valuable learnings and insights from that person. And lastly, then, put an action plan in place. There's no point in learning all of these things and hearing all the feedback and getting all of these wonderful ideas if you're not going to action them. So I would suggest that you think about what the key learnings have been from the mentor and how you are now going to implement those, and set yourself goals around the implementation of those learnings. So as an overview, then, I think I've demonstrated to you the benefits of a mentor, and how a mentor can benefit your career. I've also demonstrated how successful people often have a mentor, and that in itself demonstrates the value of having a mentor. I've shown you how to go about finding the right mentor. I've also shown you how you can benefit from our program here, and I really would be delighted to hear from you if you've any questions in relation to the program, or if you'd like to sign up on it. And I would sign up for it, and I really would urge you not to miss out on that opportunity. And I'll just give you my contact details now shortly as well. Obviously, if you've any questions around the program, do let me know and do contact us. There is an opportunity here to ask questions, and I'll stay on the line here now for any questions you might have. Our contact details are up on the screen here now, with my direct contact details as well. So if you would like to hear more about the mentor program, do contact me. And we'd also ask that you complete a survey that will be sent to you at the end of the webinar as well, just to kind of get your feedback in relation to that as well. So I'll just stay online here. If there are any questions, please do type them in, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. And thank you very much for listening this afternoon, and I look forward to hearing from you, and hopefully setting up a successful mentor relationship for you. Also, if you'd like to avail of any other career supports and career coaching, please do let me know. Thank you.